Good evening. The special meeting of the Oakley Planning Commission is called to order at 6 p.m. Will the clerk please read roll call?
Commissioner Gowdy. Absent. Commissioner Ireland.
Here.
Vice Chair Harvey. Here. Chair Price.
Here. Thank you. We will now take public comments on items not listed on tonight's agenda. We do not have any cards at this time, so please join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So at this time, with no public comment, we will now move to the regular calendar. Mr. Cirillo.
Thank you. Good evening, Chair Price, Vice Chair Harvey, and Commissioner Ireland. So tonight for the special meeting, we have one item on the agenda, and this is to adopt a resolution adopting updated Oakley Planning Commission rules of procedure to include a technology disruption policy related to SB 707, which is the audio-visual teleconferencing transition and community outreach. So this is a staff-initiated request. This is in response to the City Council adopting a resolution directing the Oakley Planning Commission to hold two-way audio-visual meetings, which will begin at the meeting today at 6:30. And this will allow people to join the meeting, participate, give oral comments during the meetings, during public comment periods, and so forth. With that new technology or the technology that we will be implementing, there are procedures in place that are being amended. And the amendment to those procedures includes what steps should we take should there be a disruption in the audio-visual two-way communication that disrupts the meeting. And that could be anything from an internet lag to wire being cut, you name it, right? So the idea here is that should there be a disruption that's identified either by a member of the planning commission or any of the staff, we can make that known, and then this policy will put in place the steps to take. So the chair would make an announcement. We would recess the meeting and have up to 1 hour to find a solution to the meeting to continue it in the two-way communication form. If there is a solution found within that hour, the meeting can continue at that time. We would reconvene. If it is unable to be solved within an hour, after 1 hour, the commission can take a vote to continue the meeting, that the meeting outweighs the public interest in the two-way communication if they choose so. Otherwise, the meeting would need to be continued. So with that said, the policy update is included as an attachment to the resolution, and the last part of that policy update is the disruption policy. Happy to answer any questions you may have, but other than that concludes my report. We recommend that the Planning Commission adopt the proposed resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 4.1 is adopt a resolution adopting updated rules and procedures to include a technology disruption policy related to SB 707. Mr. Cirillo presented in his report. At this time, are there any questions from the commissioners for staff? Is there any further discussion, or would a commissioner like to make a motion to adopt this resolution?
I'll make a motion to adopt the resolution as presented.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Commissioner Ireland.
Aye.
Vice Chair Price.
Aye.
Vice Chair Harvey.
Aye.
Chair Price.
Thank you. Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
There being no further business for the special meeting is adjourned. The regular meeting will begin at 6:30 p.m. Thank you for doing that. It's easier to read my watch. Oh, we got a few more people now. Good evening. The regular meeting of the Oakley Planning Commission is called to order at 6:30 p.m. Will the clerk please take roll?
Commissioner Gowdy? Absent. Commissioner Ireland?
Present.
Vice Chair Harvey? Present. Chair Price?
Pleasant. Will you now please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. At this time, we've received no public comments. As a reminder, if you're making any comments are limited to 3 minutes, please watch the timer in front of the chair's seat. When 1 minute remains, the timer will beep once and the light will turn yellow as a reminder to conclude your comments. We now move to the consent calendar. Is there any discussion? Would anyone like to make a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move to approve the consent calendar.
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Ireland?
Aye.
Vice Chair Harvey?
Yes.
Chair Price?
Here.
Motion passes 3-0.
We now move to item number 4.1 on the agenda. Mr. Cortez, please.
Thank you, Chair. One second. Thank you. The next item on tonight's agenda is the 2603 Main Street Liquor use permit. Oh, maybe I should turn it on. The property is located south of Main Street with the Oakley Town Center to the west and Teakwood Drive and Edgewood Drive to the east. As you recall, this item was continued from our May 19th, 2026 Planning Commission meeting to a date certain of today. Just a little background. During that May 19th Planning Commission meeting, staff was asked to conduct additional research, which included potential effects of the addition of the sale of distilled spirits to a supermarket/grocery store, and what would it cause to the senior residents of the apartment complex, circulation, loitering, and noise. Some additional background. In October 2019, the City Council approved the Twin Oaks Senior Residence Mixed-Use Project. Issuance of a conditional use permit is required prior to operation of a mixed-use project consisting of multifamily and residential in conjunction with commercial in the C District. As a little note, without the commercial component that is permitted by right in the C District, the senior residential component would not have been possible because standalone multifamily residential is not permitted in the C District. Additional store information. The Colmena Market is a family-oriented supermarket giving Oakley residents a one-stop shop for shopping. The supermarket / grocery store's focus is on quality products, exceptional customer service, cleanliness, and responsible business practices. At the store, you can have your full grocery shopping experience. They will have a full-service meat department, fresh bakery, restaurant, dessert bar, and a wide variety of produce. The applicant proposes to have thorough employee training, which would include customer service training, food safety, sanitation, workplace safety, emergency procedures, and responsible retail practices. The applicant also noted that team members are expected to maintain a professional conduct, assist customers, and promptly report any safety concerns. Potential effects. So staff was directed to evaluate the potential effects of the sale of liquor may have on senior residents. Staff did conclude that there was not a straightforward way to provide any qualitative or quantitative data without drawing speculations. Instead, staff formulated additional conditions of approval that will strengthen operations in a manner that will reduce the likelihood of any of the assumed potential ancillary negative impacts of the sale of distilled spirits that they may cause on the residents in the adjacent apartments. The applicant provided additional security information, which included management will be present during operating hours to oversee operations, employee conduct, regulatory compliance, and customer service. Employees involved in alcohol sales will be at least 21 years of age and trained in responsible beverage service requirements, and that staff will check government-issued identification for customers who appear under 40 years of age and will refuse alcohol sales to minors or visibly intoxicated persons. The market will also maintain employee training for customer service, workplace safety, emergency procedures, and responsible retail practices. Additional security measures include high-definition surveillance system covering interior sales areas, entrances, exits, and exterior areas, as well as site lighting and routine property inspections. Management has further indicated that it will cooperate with the local law enforcement as needed. A big part of the discussion at the May 19th meeting was traffic and circulation. So back in 2019, when the overall project was evaluated, an environmental review was concluded, which included the evaluation of transportation. The ISM&D determined that the project's transportation impacts would be less than significant. The project was designed with parking and drive aisles between the buildings and property lines. Vehicle access is derived off of Main Street from a driveway separated with the main project entry sign. Both senior residential and commercial component were intended to use the Main Street access as the entrance and exit. Liquor slash distilled spirits within a permitted supermarket would not alter the circulation. And patrons of the supermarket would not have access to the additional parking in the back behind the security gates, and would only have access to the parking in the front of the building. The site was approved with 188 parking spaces. 133 were for the residents, 33 for visitors, and 22 spaces were dedicated for shoppers, providing adequate parking for approved uses. The Oakley Municipal Code does not have different parking requirements for markets with or without the sale of distilled spirits. And parking requirements for retail sales are based on gross floor area and not product dependent. Conditions of approval modified. Staff revised the proposed resolution to include additional conditions of approval for the proposed project. We added conditions of approval that are designed to ensure alcohol sales remain accessory to the proposed supermarket use and do not adversely affect surrounding, do not affect surrounding properties or the adjacent senior residential component. The revised conditions limit distilled spirit sales to a secured employee accessible area behind the sales counter. They prohibit the sale of mini bottles, aka the airplane bottles. They require compliance with all applicable city and state regulations and mandate that any further operator acknowledge and accept the conditions of approval. Additional conditions of approval prohibit exterior alcohol and tobacco advertising, limit window coverage to preserve visibility into a store for law enforcement and public safety purposes, and require implementation of a police chief approved security program addressing loitering, noise, disturbances, criminal activity, and employee safety. As such, the proposed project conforms to the required findings of approval in the Oakley Municipal Code, partly due to its limited scope and permitted use of the supermarket slash grocery store. The required findings for the conditional use permit are primarily concerned with ensuring quality site development when a new business is constructed and the adjacent infrastructure is able to accommodate the new land use. The project is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, pursuant to Section 15301, existing facilities. As such, staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt the resolution approving 2603 Main Street Liquor CUP 2026-001 as conditioned. Thank you. Sorry, and a quick point of clarification. There were some supplemental documents provided to you at your stations, and the applicant accidentally titled it Type 21 off-sale beer and wine license, but it is Type 21 off-sale liquor sales. The staff report and the resolution are correctly labeled. Thank you.
Thank you. Do the commissioners have any further questions for staff?
I don't at this time. That was very detailed.
Yeah, I don't have any questions either. I'd just like to echo my colleagues' comments. Thank you. It was very thorough. Really appreciate addressing all the concerns we had from the prior meeting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I believe the applicant is here as well if you have any additional questions. They did.
I will now open the public hearing, and would an applicant like to?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, I was just saying that the applicant is here, and
Yes.
they did prepare a brief presentation if they still want to
That's
speak.
great. They'd like to come forward, the applicant?
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. Want this one? Okay, great. My name is Valshan. I'm here representing La Colmena Market today. I'm also available to answer any questions at the end if there's any. This presentation just outlines the layout of the building and also where we have the security cameras. So this is the building location. Okay, thank you. The boxing green is the commercial space and the parking space. We both have parking space on the right and on the left of the building. The security gates for the residents when entering is to the left-hand side. They would normally go around the building. Previously, the gate used to be where I've circled in red. For this location to work, we had to move this gate. We spoke to the building owners, and we requested to move this gate to the new location, as our customers would have had to access the security gate. And their plan were to leave the security gate open during our opening and closing times, and then when we leave, we would close the gate. So we decided, and this is around a year ago, or over a year ago, that it's not really secure for the tenants, where our customers and tenants, the gates will remain open. So the building owners submitted plans, and we've had the gate removed now. So now the residents, they have their own security gate to enter and exit. The next slide is just a close-up. Now, our entrance is a two-way lane, so you can go up and you can down. It's not a one-way. We spoke to the building owners to see if there's other options we can probably help support with, when it comes to entering and exiting. What they mentioned is the other gate that's on the left-hand side could be set up for, instead of just an entrance, as an entrance and an exit. So tenants would be able to just access from that side, enter the building, and leave the building on the same. But I don't really think it will be much beneficial, especially for the tenants that live on the other side of the building. It would be closer for them, and there's plenty of space for cars to pass at the same time. It's normally maybe 50% full in there. It's never really full, so I don't think it would cause any traffic issues. This is just an outline of where the traffic would normally go for the residents, and this is for our customers and ourselves. Next slide is the CCTV surveillance. We have a 32 system surveillance. Currently we have 26 installed in that location, and I believe it would be 5 cameras that are located outside the building, surrounds the parking area. Recently, the building owners installed their own cameras as well outside, so there's additional security. We spoke to them, and we will liaise with them for any future, if there's anything, any issues that we might have, we'll be able to discuss with them. These are the positions of the cameras. This is the first, second, third, fourth, and fifth camera. This is about it for this slide. I would just like to add, our goal here is we're hoping, and our target is family-oriented business. I myself have the pleasure of being a resident of Oakley for about 15 years now. My parents, my 2 brothers, and my sister, we all have homes within a 30-minute walking distance of the location. So I know the community well, and our main target is the tenants that are living at the building and the surrounding area. We want to attract families to this location. Now, the space inside the building has, I think it's a 10 by 8 location where it's behind the counter. Now, in that location itself, where we plan to have the distilled spirits, it will not only have that, it would be only, I think, like 15% of that location. We will also have the lottery, money orders, electronics, other things for sale. So it's a very, very small location inside the building. The rest of the location where our aiming is, we have a restaurant, which is about a third of the location, a fresh meat department, a bakery as well, and the store floor has, I think, 7 aisles. So I don't really think there would be much affect even our sales. We're not aiming even, I think, for 5% of sales in regards to beer. But the reason why we do want to have this license is just only so we can compete with other stores. As if we don't have this license, we would potentially, customers that are planning to go to one location and find everything there, they may be forced to find another location, even though they would be shopping for basic needs like groceries, milk. They may want alcohol to buy for a party or an event, but don't want to have to stop at more than one location. And in relation to the hours, I know this was discussed. I didn't have the pleasure of being here last time, but I did watch it over, I think, on YouTube afterwards. And I saw that was one of the concerns. The time that we close was 10. The actual time that we close is, we've done it in other locations, and we feel that the time we've chosen is adequate. It's not really, I wouldn't say really late. We've based it on other locations near us, like Lucky's and Grocery Outlet. And if this is the main issue, we are open to maybe lowering that time for the actual liquor sales. Even though the liquor sales that we plan to sell, I saw what the city have proposed, and we're happy with all the conditions on there. And we have our own conditions. We wouldn't really be selling any kind of cheap alcohol. We're mainly aiming for like party events, things for special occasions, and the value of the liquor is a high amount. It wouldn't be any of the 99 cents or the $1. It would have nothing of that sort, even if it wasn't one of the requirements on there. So that's all I really have to say. But if there's any questions at the end, I'm happy to answer them. And thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you. Do any of the commissioners have a question for the applicant?
That was very detailed, and thank you for the excellent map of the cameras. That was very, very good.
Was that all? Thank
I
you.
was just saying that you gave a very
I
good
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
No question, just a comment. I did appreciate submittal of the security operations policies and procedures, particularly, pointing out some pain points that were in the public comments in the prior session, particularly loitering, property maintenance, and I greatly appreciated really detailing out how you're going to mitigate a lot of the issues, consideration for the senior housing. So thank you. I appreciate those details.
Thank you. At this time, I have one public comment card. Sandy Bothwick.
Do I have to hit something? We're good? Okay. Well, there's several things. We who live there are not in favor of a liquor license. People can go to Lucky's. The gentleman spoke about parking and the traffic pattern. The traffic pattern is backwards. When you come in, instead of going to the right, which is normal, you go to the left. So you have people going to the left coming in and people coming from the other side going out. It's a perfect storm. The gentleman also spoke about having the gates enter and exit. It can't be done. He says there's enough room, but when you're pulling in and someone is coming out of the same gate, there's really not enough room. And there have been several near accidents because of that. So that is not a solution. The parking is an issue because the exit gate stays open for too long, in my opinion, and cars do go in the exit gate, and there will be parking. And even though we have cameras, by the time they pick up who it is, the damage could be done. So we are not in favor of that. And we are concerned about the security. Yes, there are cameras, but at the time of an incident, the camera will pick it up, but who will be there to take care of the problem? We're concerned about the noise level. I don't know what their hours are, but we have had, Twin Oaks was not built with seniors in mind and not built well in many cases, and there have been multiple issues over the past 4 years and multiple management teams. We're finally getting to a place where things are settling down. And the last thing we need is for accidents or arguments or whatever can be from this. So we would really appreciate it if you would not grant the license and if you would not consider entering and exiting from the same gates. That's really a setup for an accident. So thank you.
Thank you. I'll now ask the clerk to call on any remote attendees related to this item.
I'm seeing no online comments.
Thank you. I will now close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission for deliberation. Would any commissioner like to make a motion to adopt this resolution?
Yeah, I mean, as far as deliberating, and I'll definitely make a motion to approve it. I was rather pleased with staff and the owner's statements on how they're going to mitigate the concerns. It does sound like there's some other issues that at this property. Unfortunately, they're not related to the conditional use permit, so it's nothing we can address. I don't see anything that materially affects that, so I'll make a motion to go ahead and support this. Or
Thank you. Need a second?
Go ahead and second it, and thank you to staff for the excellent conditions. You really were very detailed and considerate. Thank you.
Clerk?
Commissioner Ireland,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harvey,
Aye.
Chair Price.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
We now move to item 4.2, Douglas Road Minor Subdivision. Mr. Gorman, please.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. I really appreciate it. Let me just dial in this really quick, and I'll be right with you. Thank you. All right. Tonight's item before us is 59 Douglas Road, a minor subdivision, tentative parcel map 2025, number 4. We'll start with the project location. We're here on the south end of town. If we zoom in, we'll get a closer view of the parcel there in blue on Douglas Road. And it is mid-block to the east of the intersection of Douglas Road and Main Street. The address is 59 Douglas Road for the subject property. It's a 1.1 acre parcel. The general plan designation is residential low medium. The zoning is R6 single family residential. The site has an existing home and accessory structures on it. It has existing curb, gutter, and sidewalk, and the property is surrounded by other homes on residentially zoned lots. For tonight's application, the applicant is requesting the approval of a tentative parcel map subdividing this 1.1 acre parcel into 4 lots and 1 remainder parcel. So 4 new lots, and then there's a leftover area where that existing home would sit. The 4 new parcels, parcels A through D, would each be approximately around 8,000 square feet in area. They sit there on the right-hand portion of this parcel on the image, and this is just a rough drawing to show you where those lines are. Here's the technical map, and the remainder parcel to the left would be approximately 18,600 square feet, and it would retain the existing single-family residence. No new homes are proposed at this time, but the project is intended to accommodate future sale and development of these lots. We provide an analysis to you with every application, and for tonight on this item, tentative parcel maps, they're reviewed to make sure new lots are created in an orderly way. You could imagine a century ago, we kind of did it willy-nilly with your neighbor. You divide off some land, and keeping accurate records was very difficult. So you'll notice that on small subdivisions, the laws are all based around doing it in an orderly fashion, and that's the case here. We're to review that it is consistent with the general plan, it complies with the applicable zoning district, it includes the necessary improvements that the city requires, such as access and adequate infrastructure like utilities. The State Subdivision Map Act and the city subdivision rules are intended to ensure that land is divided responsibly rather than creating lots that cannot be properly accessed, served, or developed. The tentative parcel map for 59 Douglas Road, it adheres to our R6 development standards. Each of the 4 new parcels exceeds the district's minimum requirements for lot width, lot depth, and lot area, with proposed dimensions of approximately 70 feet in width, 115 feet in depth, and again, that 8,000 square foot roughly area. The resulting density is also consistent and within the 3.8 to 5.5 dwelling units per acre range prescribed by the residential low and medium designation in the general plan. So what we found in our analysis is they followed the directions. They meet the city's requirements for subdividing this land. It also conforms to the State Subdivision Map Act, and project-specific conditions of approval have been incorporated to ensure that the subdivision is completed consistent with city standards. These include a requirement to connect to utilities, and as well as construction of a shared uniform access driveway using consistent materials and design, so we don't get a haphazard driveway as these lots are built. For environmental review, CEQA has a specific exemption for very small subdivisions like this. When you're in the 4-lot range with the remainder, you get to utilize Section 15.315, minor land divisions, and so we find that to be appropriate here. And for staff's recommendation, staff recommends that the Planning Commission approve the project titled 59 Douglas Road Minor Subdivision 25-980 as conditioned. I'm happy to answer any questions you have. The applicant, Tom Heckman's here to answer any questions on their side. They don't have a presentation. They feel that because they followed those development standards that the application speaks for itself, and I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Commissioners, do you have any comments for staff at this time?
I had 2 questions, partially, I guess, just my own education. At this step, when we're subdividing a lot, is drainage a concern at all? Either you're creating essentially 4 new lots, drainage between the 2 lots, as well as possibly adding more hardscape and increasing drainage that now goes in onto city property on the streets, or is that at the design stage?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we do have to route this to engineering, and they do look at drainage. And you'll see this tentative map has all these arrows showing where water flows. And it is correct that as of right now, water will flow how it does today before the subdivision. And then the way it's done in Contra Costa County with this small development is that as each home comes in, they will have to demonstrate to our engineering division that water stays on the property. And so they'll have to build associated retention and infrastructure for that. Okay. That's a good question.
Second question, and I think I know the answer to this one because I did ask staff earlier, but I'd like to confirm my understanding for access. So again, the 4 lots are in an interesting direction where only 2 of them don't have street access. They can't go directly. So it sounds like there's an easement that's going to be put in, and my understanding is if one of the south lots were to build before either of the 2 north lots, they would be responsible for building a driveway. Is that correct with this subdivision?
Yeah, the way the condition's written is we really didn't want a piecemeal driveway, and so there's a proposed condition in the draft resolution that says that when the subdivider goes to get a final a parcel map done, that's the one that's recorded with the county, they have to submit the plans for what the total driveway will be in order to get approval for that final map. And then we did want to leave some flexibility where either the subdivider or the first person to try and build must build the driveway uniformly. And so it will either be the subdivider or the first person to try and build a home on these lots.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Further questions.
Any questions?
Nope.
Would the applicant like to provide any comments at this time?
pleased to answer any questions if you have, but Mr. Gorman did a wonderful job with the presentation, represented wonderfully. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
We have received no cards or comments for this item. So I will now close the public hearing and bring the matter back to the commission. Would any commissioner like to a motion to adopt this resolution?
I move to adopt this resolution.
I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Ireland,
Aye.
Vice Chair Harvey,
Aye.
Chair Price.
Aye.
Motion passes 3-0.
Thank you. There are no regular calendar items for this evening. We'll now move to item 6.1. Are there any reports from staff?
Yes, Mayor, thank you very much. Just two quick reports here. You may have noticed the seat usually occupied by Commissioner Yard Oliveros is vacant, and that is because Commissioner Oliveros has submitted her resignation from the Planning Commission. She is moving out of town, so she will no longer be able to serve on the Planning Commission, and that is effective today. City staff will work with the city clerk to work on getting new applications for new planning commissioners and ultimately take those to the city council for interviews, where they will have to select a replacement commissioner to sit on this board. We're also looking at some of the terms and trying to get those on track. You may have remembered when any of you were appointed that we have some that were appointed in October and some in February. Our goal is really to get all of these done in a manner where when a city council member is elected, they can be a part of appointing the planning commissioners coming up rather than having planning commissioners appointed just before election. So that's kind of the goal moving forward. We'll let you know more about that as it evolves. The second thing is, actually I have three things. The other is that just a reminder that the August regular Planning Commission meeting will be held on the third Tuesday, and that is to allow you as planning commissioners and others that may feel that their interests are being pulled in two different directions to attend and enjoy National Night Out that Tuesday night. I know that's a very popular thing in the city of Oakley. We have many staff members and police officers that attend that, and we want to make sure our planning commissioners can as well, and the public, without feeling they're missing out on a planning commission meeting. So that meeting will be held on August 18th. And finally, I just wanted to say, I hope I don't jinx it, but congrats on holding the first two-way audio-visual meeting for the city of Oakley. We got the audio issue, the echo figured out, and things seem to be working just fine right now. So thank you very much.
Do any of the commissioners have any requests for future agenda items,
Not at this time.
reports? We now move to agenda item 7.1. It is a work session. Mr. Gorman, please.
Yes, thank you, Chair. Our work session tonight is 3920 Empire Avenue, preliminary general plan amendment. On the agenda, we had a typo where it was 3290, and we want to apologize for that. We also sent out corrected notices to make sure everyone had the correct address here. Thank you. First, we'll start with the location for our work session tonight. We're here in the southwest portion of town, over at the intersection of Laurel and Empire. If we get closer, a closer view, you'll see there's Empire Avenue and Laurel Road, and then the subject parcel is outlined in yellow. There's a dotted yellow line showing trying to represent the divide between the two parcels. And then they have separate addresses, and that will be helpful to understand when I give you the background on this. Here's an overview of what it looks like in the general plan. Red is commercial, orange and yellow are residential, and then the subject properties are outlined in purple there in the center. All right. For background, the southern parcel, the larger one, 3920 Empire Avenue, has long been owned and occupied by the applicants. The smaller parcel to the north, 3980 Empire Avenue, was previously owned by the City of Oakley. In 2021, the City Council authorized staff to begin the required Surplus Land Act notification process for several city-owned properties, including 3980 Empire Avenue, again, the smaller parcel along Laurel Road. In 2022, the City Council approved the sale of 3980 Empire Avenue to the applicants who own the adjacent property. The municipal code allows the city to negotiate directly with an adjacent owner when combining parcels would result in a better development opportunity than the surplus property could achieve on its own. That was the case here. On its own, 3980 Empire Avenue was a small, constrained remnant parcel. It had an unusual shape, a long Laurel Road frontage, below grade elevation, as you can see from that picture, that would require substantial fill, and storm drain improvements that would need to be relocated. Staff estimated those site constraints would be costly and would make independent development difficult. By combining the city-owned parcel with the applicant's existing parcel, the site becomes what is commonly referred to in commercial development as a hard corner, a property located at the intersection of two streets with direct access and visibility from Laurel Road. Before acquiring the northern parcel, the applicant had explored potential commercial development opportunities, but the lack of Laurel Road frontage limited those discussions. With both parcels now under one ownership, the applicant is pursuing the commercial land use designation that the earlier consolidation was intended to make possible. This application brings that anticipated land use request before the Planning Commission and later the City Council for feedback. Why do we do a work session? A preliminary work session offers a chance for feedback and community involvement. Because this is a work session, city staff have not conducted a typical review of this proposal. The purpose of this work session is simply to get feedback from the Planning Commission on whether there is support for a change in land use designation. The Planning Commission's feedback is expected to be presented to the City Council at a future work session. And so again, tonight's about gathering feedback. We can't make a decision here on this. The work session requests, the technical request here tonight, we're gathering feedback to discuss the merits of a potential project to amend the general plan land use designation of the subject property from residential low, RL, to commercial, C. All right, again, we have an analysis or an assessment. Here for staff's assessment. Staff's assessment is that a commercial designation is the appropriate long-term land use for this site. The property is the last substantially undeveloped corner at a major signalized intersection that already functions as a commercial node in town. It fronts the city's busiest roadway as well. Locating new commercial activity at this intersection is consistent with land use planning and with the city's longstanding treatment of this corner. Commercial land uses are commonly located at major intersections because these areas provide high visibility, convenient access, and exposure to passing traffic. Such locations allow businesses to capture trips from drivers already traveling through the area, and commercial development at intersections can also serve as a transition or buffer between heavily trafficked corridors and nearby residential neighborhoods. Amending, in terms of the actual technical what happens, amending the general plan designation to commercial would make a rezone application to commercial possible. With a rezone comes the ability to use the uses in that new zone, the commercial zone, subject to our zoning ordinance regulations. The existing residence would become a legal non-conforming use if the property were to be rezoned to a non-residential district. So if this were to come back with a decision at a later date or requesting a decision, a real application, and that were to be approved, They could then establish commercial uses on here, which would need additional public hearings, and the home could not be expanded. It would have to sit as is. You could live in it, but you couldn't do an addition because it's no longer zoned residential. There's a point of clarification here with this specific location. Even with a commercial designation, neither a fuel station nor a car wash could be established on the site under the city's separation standards. Oakley's municipal code requires a new gas station to be at least 500 feet from an existing one, while the ordinance allows 2 gas stations on separate corners at the intersection of 2 arterial streets. That allowance is already exhausted here, as the AM/PM sits to the northwest and the 7-Eleven sits to the southwest. Another section separately prohibits any new car wash within 1,000 feet of an existing car wash, and a car wash already operates at the northwest corner well within that distance. As a result, 2 of the auto-oriented uses most commonly associated with commercial corners would be precluded regardless of the general plan change. Additionally, any future development would be subject to current code regulations. It would need design review. The California Environmental Quality Act would apply, and it would involve substantial site improvements. Again, tonight's just an advisory work session. There's no process to approve a project because of this work session. The Planning Commission may act in an advisory role to the City Council, and staff will include the Planning Commission's consensus direction from this meeting to the City Council at a future work session. I can answer any questions you have. The applicants are here as well. They again feel this speaks for itself, but they're happy to answer any questions you have for the applicants, and so I appreciate it. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The applicant would like to speak?
They said that they're just happy to answer any questions you have.
Great.
Thank you.
All right. Well, this will be calling on speakers. I have one card, Carolyn Cambry.
You want one too?
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you. My husband has lived, he bought this property in the 70s. He raised his children there. We've been through 2 eminent domains, and I was just thinking about it. We were looking for information when we knew we had to come here tonight, and it's been exactly almost 11 years ago that we fought to keep 7-Eleven from being along the edge of our property. A lot of our concerns are the height that property will be over our property. If you remember the house that used to sit down in the hole on the little piece of land that is now there that they bought, that's what our property will be when and if this is constructed. And I don't understand the red, orange, and yellow things that means, and I don't know what they're wanting to put there. But we are adamantly opposed to it, and we feel that it would drastically devalue our property. And we plan on spending the rest of our life there. We're not interested in selling at this time. My husband's 82, and we're too old to move. So I would respectfully ask that you consider our request not to do this. Thank you.
Thank you. We have one more card coming. Mr. Bart?
Moats. Conan Moats, thank you. Good evening, Planning Commission. I'm here as a liaison to the Diablo Water District, but I'm going to take off that hat and put on a hat of a Oakley resident. So the change to commercial makes a lot of sense in many ways because as the presentation pointed out, it's kind of like the lone corner where all of the adjacent properties are already commercial. Perhaps that would be the best use, and it is prevented from having a gas station or a car wash or hopefully not a storage space, because that's another thing that the city residents are not super excited about. But my concern is the same concern that we had with the McDonald's and the Quick Quack, and that is that there's a school right across the street. So I'm a teacher by trade, and I'm concerned about the safety of the children at Laurel Elementary. So if it is built into another commercial space, I'm concerned about the safety of the ingress and egress from Laurel. I see kids crossing across Laurel every day on my way to work, people flying through that intersection even though it's 25 miles an hour. I know that there is a school district office right there on the other side of Mercedes. So I think that if the city were to be creative or to work with the school district, that space might be used because the office spaces that are at the district office, a lot of them are portables. It looks like they could use some investment. Maybe that property could be used for that purpose. But, you know, again, this is super preliminary, and I appreciate you guys having this work session. And, yeah, as a resident, I've seen just so much building, so much developed, so much more commercial, so much more residential. And so it's part of my goal as an Oakley citizen to try to preserve as much space as possible that is not developed for commercial or residential purposes. Thank you.
Thank you. Clerk, are there any remote attendees?
There are no hands raised online.
We'll bring this item back to the Planning Commission for discussion and direction. There's no vote on this tonight, but we're asking for our input.
I had a couple of questions. So I'd like to be clear in my understanding. I think I know the answer. I just want to make sure. This is a general plan change, not a rezone, correct? Is what we're kind of talking about here. This would still need to come back as an actual rezone if it were to be changed from residential to commercial. This is just changing the general plan, the work session.
Yeah, tonight isn't even changing the general plan.
Sorry, I should be clear. Yeah, the work session is about the possibility of changing the general plan.
Yeah,
Okay.
and you nailed it. It is true, though, that the application that this leads to, if there's positive feedback, is usually a general plan amendment.
Yeah.
And we do see those come concurrently with a rezone.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yep. The next question I have, and just to understand the barriers between commercial and residential, because currently right now it's a large residential block, those colors that we saw on the map. Is there anything we have on commercial requirements for any kind of separation, walls, sound mitigation, landscaping, anything like that that would come up again? And if there's not an answer now, this might be something as a work session item to address when it goes to council.
Yes, definitely. That's a great question. Our commercial design guidelines do have regulations in them for when you're adjacent. You have commercial adjacent to residential. The one I can remember off the top of my head is a requirement for an 8-foot tall masonry wall. I want to be sensitive to that because we got a public comment that said they want it taller than that, but that is the requirement. And then there's certain things we have to look at is if they are in close proximity, we have to do noise studies. We typically do noise studies to take a look at the impact there as well. And if there is a significant impact, we tend to work to address that. But the one I remember is the wall specifically.
Yeah, I think just as my comment, and since we're in work session, is I think that's what I want to see when this goes to the next step is basically what impact is it going to be to the residential lots next to it. Again, sound, drainage if it's appropriate, see is a common theme I'm concerned about. And then noise, light, sound, that basically, what's the impact of this going to be? I know you can't mitigate all of it, but I'm curious what we can mitigate.
Yeah, that's good feedback. We just had an example in the process right now, and absolutely we're looking at light, shading it so it doesn't spill over. So that's very helpful feedback. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate
Mr.
it.
Corman, so any project that comes forward would have to go through the regular approval process of any other things being built here in Oakley?
Yes, sir, Chair, that's correct. It would.
Thank you.
And I'd like to see addressing the height question, making sure we don't have a surrounding looming building over the residentials, and that's mitigation too. But if these mitigation terms are met and it's appropriate, it seems like the lot was a detriment to the city. It was seen as a way to combine and make a successful property, and at no cost to the city, which would have been an expensive project to fix. Drainage, filling, all of that. So interested in seeing what you come back with.
Thank you. There being no further business, this meeting is now adjourned.